everybody, my name is Tess. Welcome back to my channel. If you guys are new, my name's Tess. I'm 24, I live downtown Toronto. I work full-time in marketing and I make content about, post-grad life, lifestyle stuff. And yeah, if you guys subscribe, stick around if you guys are new. Today I want to sit down and talk all about asking for a raise, negotiating your salary, and just like money when it comes to your job in general. I feel like for me, I have found like the times I have negotiated and asked for a raise, it was super awkward and just like so uncomfortable. But I thought I'd just have like a bit of experience that I wanted to share. I did some research, I have some tips and tricks and advice, so I thought I would sit down in one video and just explain all things having to do with negotiating your salary, asking for a raise, and why you definitely should do both of those things all of the time. So I hope you guys enjoy watching this video, and let's get started. So I did some research, I pulled some stats, some notes, and I thought I would just share some things that I found in a Forbes article. I will link the article down below, but it was just like a study done all about like asking for a raise, negotiating your salary, specifically as a woman. So I'll just share with you guys what I found. Okay, first stat is 70% of managers expect you to negotiate your salary, but only 46% of men negotiate, only 34% of women negotiate. So 70% of managers expect you to, but like 30 to 40% of people actually do negotiate your salary. The next thing is only 37% of people have asked for a raise at their current job. 60% of the time, women are paid less for the same job as a man in 2021. And finally, evidence suggests that on average, women who negotiate their salaries and benefits stand to earn $1 million more over their lifetime. So I just want to throw those stats out there because I found those like so interesting, and I feel like it's not super shocking, but it's just, I can't believe in like 2020 or 2021 that like it's just still such a reality that no one wants to ask for a raise and no one wants to negotiate their salary. Anyways, I just want to throw those stats out there to preface this video. Alright, so the first thing I want to talk about is negotiating your salary. Negotiating your salary, I have done it one time. I got the offer that I asked for and it was so terrifying. I wanted to say that if you are feeling like it's awkward and it's like uncomfortable, that's normal, and it's definitely not a reason to not ask. And I'll get into tips and tricks of like how to actually ask for more money from your original job offer. I've had 4 jobs post-grad. I've only negotiated my salary once, and like I said, I did get what I asked for, and that was just like such a huge learning for me, because I'm like, if I just hadn't like sent that one email, I would be making $10,000 less than I'm making right now. So it's like one email or one phone call can make you like so much more money. And of course you're not going to get every single time. They might say no, and then that's something else like to deal with. But I will say in general, if you are feeling uncomfortable and like awkward asking for more money than you're offered in your job offer, that's normal. Still ask, always ask, because you just never know. Another thing I will say, that your boss or whoever is like offering you the job, they're never gonna retract your offer because you're asking for more money. If you get offered $50,000 and you respond to their email and you have a good argument for making $60,000, they're not gonna say like, oh, well, because you asked us for more money, like we're not gonna hire you. They're just gonna say no. So worst case, someone's gonna say no and you can still take the job. The worst thing that can happen is they're gonna say no. No one will ever like retract your job offer because you're asking for more money. Okay, so in this article I read, it said, one critical error that women often make is that they don't negotiate their starting wage at a job, putting them at a financial disadvantage from the get-go. You're failing to negotiate your starting wage can set the tone for the rest of your career because you'll be playing catch-up, which grows exponentially over time. And I think that's so interesting, especially like as a woman in business. Like the beginning stat said, only 34% of women negotiate their salary, which is, 12% less than the amount of men. It's just like a good thing to remember and keep top of mind. Don't be in that like 66% of women that don't ask for more money or negotiate their salary. Feel empowered to negotiate your salary and ask for more money, especially if you can get a really good use case and a really good way to like back up why you deserve it. I think just always remember that if you don't ask, you're going to be like potentially missing out on thousands of dollars. As a woman, it's just important to negotiate, ask for more money, because men will always do it more than we will. So that's just something else I wanted to say. So let's get into actually how you negotiate your salary. So negotiations is basically like they offer you $50,000 and you ask for more money. I think you can do this in a lot of different ways. So these are just my tips and like what worked for me. It's not guaranteed they're gonna give you what you ask for. A lot of the times they probably will say no, but if they say yes, it's worth like the one email and one phone call. So in terms of like how I actually negotiated it and how I did a little bit of research as well, just like other people's tips. I think the biggest thing, first of all, is always ask for a little bit more than you actually want. And that's something that I did when I negotiated my salary. I wanted a certain amount, but I added $5,000 onto that amount because I forget what this technique is called. I think it's called anchoring, where it's like you ask for more because they probably are going to negotiate you down a little bit less. So say they offer you 50 grand and you want 60 grand, ask for 65, and then they might say, okay, well, we can give you 60, but you actually wanted 60. Make it a little bit higher and they probably will anchor you down a little bit. And I think that's like a really common tip. I saw that everywhere, and that's something that worked for me. So that's the first thing I want to say. When you're asking for negotiation, you definitely, in my opinion, want to have a number in mind. I wouldn't say you just want more. I would definitely give them a number, and like I said, make that number a little bit more than you actually want. My biggest tip, and this comes with a raise as well, is always like have a plan and be super organized and just like have it in writing of why you deserve more money. You want to just have evidence and receipts and just proof of why you deserve more money. You want to be organized, do market research, go on Glassdoor, see what other people are making. I'm gonna say marketing a lot as examples because that's me, but if you're applying for a marketing coordinator job, look up like average salaries for a marketing coordinator in your city. And if you're getting offered less, like that's a great thing to take a screenshot of and include in your negotiation email or call or whatever it is. Also, check the other job postings and just see like similar job postings, same title, same responsibilities. If all the jobs around you are making or like offering more money, I think that's another like really valid thing to say. Companies do, for the most part, want to stay competitive and they don't want to be, I don't know, lose people because they're not offering enough. So I think if you just generally tell them like, all of these other jobs for the same role are offering 10 grand more or 5 grand more, that's another really good thing you can research and look into as well. Okay, so like I said, you want to have a reason of why you deserve the increase in your salary. Besides market research of like job titles and what they're making in your city, another thing you can do is pull on your past experience and your responsibilities and try to prove the value that you're bringing to the company. Especially if you're getting offered less maybe than you're making now, you can almost come back to them and say like, okay, at my current job, like I'm responsible for all of this, like these tasks, these people, I've made this much revenue for my last company. Try to just find like pinpoints of what you're responsible for to like show the value that you're bringing to the company. And so I think that's like another big tip I have. So I think that's the best way, in my opinion, to like prove like your case for needing more money or wanting more money. Do your market research of what other people are making and also prove your value through your experience and just like list off like what you've done. I think that will be like two good things to back you up. I think a big thing is when it's your first job, a lot of people don't know like if they should negotiate their first job out of school. In my opinion, always do market research. It's kind of hard in your first job to negotiate because you probably don't have any experience, or at least I didn't going to my first job. But I think I probably could have argued for a higher salary because I was definitely not making that much. I will just say I have doubled my salary in 2 years. The salary I was making when I left my first job, I am making actually a little bit over double what I was making at that job. And in only 2 years, like to go up that much, it's definitely because I've negotiated it and asked for raises. But I will also say I should have negotiated before because my first salary was, you know, at a nonprofit, but it was definitely lower than the market value. And if I just did a quick Google search of like what a marketing, I think I was a marketing associate, like that average salary I was making like significantly less. So we'll say that as well. In my experience, I asked for a salary negotiation over email. I just found that to be the best way for me. I'm going to post an email template on busyblooming.ca, so I'll link it down below. Busy Blooming is a network for post-grad women or women in their 20s. It has free resources, Facebook group, podcast, everything. Go check it out. But anyways, busyblooming.ca, I'm gonna include an email template for negotiating your salary on the website. So if you want to go check it out, you can. But I just always negotiate over email. I'll link the template, but I said like hi there, thank you so much for the offer. I'm so excited to like potentially work together, join the marketing team. I'd like to negotiate a salary of X amount because market value is this, people in Toronto make this, I'm gonna bring this much value, and then just send it off. I think you could have a phone call if you want. I just feel like it just like depends the situation. But I sent the email and then they called me and then they said, sure, we can give you this much. So I don't know, it's up to you, but I've done it over email. I was in a bit of a easier situation, I will say, when I negotiated my salary. I was had another job offer, so that is like the ideal situation to be in. If you're interviewing for like a bunch of jobs, you get 2 job offers, one's way more than the other, but you want to work here, that's a really good reason to negotiate. Like if you can get in that situation, it's like the least like difficult way to ask for negotiation, and then you have another offer if you don't want to take like less money. So anyways, that's what I will say about negotiating. Okay, I think that's everything I want to say about negotiating your salary. I just need to repeat it again. Always ask for more. The worst thing you're gonna say is no. It's not greedy or selfish to negotiate your salary. It's so common, and I think it feels really unnatural, especially if you're like excited about the job or something. Like obviously you're excited about your new job. I think you just never want to miss out on an opportunity by just not asking because it's uncomfortable. Like the stat at the beginning, 70% of people are expecting you to negotiate. So just ask for more and negotiate. It doesn't have to be this like crazy, scary, daunting thing. It's just a quick email and a little bit of Googling, and it can honestly make you like thousands of dollars. So I would say definitely take the time and do it, and yeah. Okay, next I want to talk about asking for a raise. So I will say I recently asked for a raise for the first time, and again, I wish I had done this in the past. I think it just takes like a few years to feel confident enough in your like skills and experience. And even for me, like this last like year and a bit, I feel like I have learned, and my skills and responsibility has like skyrocketed from my previous jobs. Asking for a raise is again like one of those kind of awkward things. So I think it shouldn't be. If you're working a job and you genuinely know that you deserve to make more money and you have a lot of good reasons, always ask for a raise. Like again, the worst thing they're gonna say is no. They legally cannot fire you for asking for a raise. It's not, they can't. So I don't think you're gonna get fired, or people are gonna think it's weird. I'm sure that the person you're asking for a raise has had a bunch of people ask them for a raise. It's a very normal thing. They've probably asked for a raise themselves. So I think always just ask. You never know like what someone will say. So in my experience, when I asked for a raise, again, I did get the raise, but I had asked for more than I actually wanted. I think a lot of the times like we start in jobs and then like 6 or 7 months later, you're doing way more than you were hired to do and paid to do, and you have way more responsibilities. You're doing way different stuff than was on your job posting. I think that's very, very common. I think job postings often are like very inaccurate, and you're often doing a lot more than it says. So I think that's a really fair time, like to take a step back, take your job posting, analyze like what you're doing now, and if it's a lot more that you're doing now, that's a really good reason to ask for a raise. Similar to negotiating your salary, you want to be organized, you want to have documentation, and you want to do research and prove to your boss why you deserve to make more money and why you're valued higher than what you're getting paid now. Again, do market research. This is something that actually got me my raise. For me, I am a product marketing manager. I used to be a digital marketing manager, and my job is completely different. Like product marketing and digital marketing are two like very, very different types of marketing. So the job I'm doing now is actually, and product marketing actually makes like significantly more than digital marketing in Toronto. I don't know about other places. So when I did some research and checked out what product marketing makes, it makes a lot more. So it's a pretty good argument like to ask for more money. So I think first of all, if you do have a title change or like your job has changed, even if you haven't officially had a title change, but you feel like you were hired to do one thing and your job is like could literally be under a different title, you can propose that to your boss. Like you could make a job description on like a Google document and say, I was hired to be a social media manager, but I'm basically just a marketing manager for like all these people, and then make your own job description, like write it out on Google Docs, and then look up the salary for that job, and you can almost like pitch a new role that's more accurate to what you're doing day to day. And if they can't offer that to you, I think it's very fair to ask to then be doing only what you were like like hired and paid to do, because I think a lot of the times we get like overworked and we're just, you know, hard-working people and want to do a good job. Definitely do research. If you are hired to be a marketing coordinator, you're doing the work of a digital marketing manager, be paid to be a digital marketing manager, ask to be changed for your title. The worst thing they're gonna say is no, right? So it's like you can pitch all this stuff, they're gonna say no, or they're gonna say not right now, but they're never gonna say you're fired. So you might as well just ask. So my biggest tips for me when I asked for a raise, I actually had like 4 pages, which might be a little bit extra now that I think back, but I had like 4 pages of a Word document of like to prove why I deserved more money. This is just what I did. So the first page, it was my like job description that I copy and pasted, I think from like LinkedIn or Indeed. Copy and pasted that. I highlighted like what I was still doing, which was like only one thing on that job description that I was still doing. The second page was all of my new responsibilities, so everything that's new that I've taken on that was not in that job description. And then the third page is a job description I created for myself with my same title that I was moved to, but just like a new description of like all of the things I'm managing and strategic stuff I'm doing. And I just took on like so much more responsibility and ownership of stuff. So I just like wrote out my new like job description. I booked a 20-minute meeting with my boss, ran him through the document and emailed it to him. And that's kind of like how I got my raise. Again, I think it's just, your job just changes. Like you are hired to do one thing, a lot of the times you're doing way more or something different. So you want to be compensated for that change. I mean, a lot of the time they might say like, we'll wait until your 1-year review, but I just think you always want to be getting paid for the work that you're doing, and don't feel like it's ungrateful or bad or negative in any way to ask. A lot of the times they're probably expecting it, especially if they know that they've given you a lot more work. I think you'd be surprised like how many people are expecting it. Take a step back, evaluate what you're doing day to day. If it's drastically different than what you were hired to do, make a document, describe what you're doing now, do some market research, and propose like a new salary. And I think, I don't know, you just like, again, you never know what they're gonna say. So that's how I asked for my raise and got my raise. And yeah, so I wanted to say, and something I talked about actually on my podcast with Zoe Pritchard. She gives such good tips as well. I'll link it down below. You're like $5,000 or $10,000 you're asking for your company, to them is like nothing. Like it's pennies to them. When I worked at the Big Four, I think we made like $44 billion a year. I definitely was not making enough at that job. I was definitely underpaid. I actually know I was underpaid compared to other people who had the same job as me. To us, like $5,000 is a lot of money, but to these big billion-dollar companies, it's just not. I also was looking around a lot, and a lot of people said, and Zoe actually mentioned this on the podcast as well, you can ask for other things before, if they don't offer you a raise. Like if they can't give you 5 or 10,000 more or whatever you ask for, you could ask for other things to be compensated instead, like your phone bill or your internet, or just like other perks that you just definitely like could, or maybe like the gas for your car or something that you could ask for instead of like not a lump sum of money. I think that's a really good idea, and something else that you actually might like appreciate even more than like the $2,000 on your paycheck or something. We need to just not, and this is me talking to myself as well, we can't like just not ask and be paid less because you feel intimidated or nervous or uncomfortable. It's gonna be uncomfortable probably, but it's worth the discussion, and you deserve to be paid for your work and what you're worth. So I think that's just something to remember. Know your worth, make sure you're getting paid for your worth, and they definitely might say no, and that's like just a reality. Like it's not guaranteed they're going to give you $10,000 more or something if you ask, but I will say it's definitely like worth asking, just to know that you've done everything you can. And yeah, I think that's all I wanted to say. I asked you guys on Instagram for questions about this video as always, and you guys asked some really good questions, so I thought I would answer them in this video. So the first question is, how do you gain confidence to ask for a raise? When I asked for my raise, I was super nervous. It was like I think my voice was like shaking. Like I was really nervous because it's definitely like just new territory and something you've probably never done before, and it's okay to feel nervous. When I was walking my boss through the document, like it was pretty like nerve-wracking. It's okay to not have the confidence. I feel like to build up the confidence, once you start doing the research and like evaluating, and if you do realize you are making like a lot less money than the market value in your city for the same job, that will give you confidence. So I think it's definitely like okay to not feel confident. Like if you know and feel that you deserve more money, it will make you feel more confident. Like as you sit down, write out the document, like reflect on like what you were hired to do versus what you're doing now. It will definitely like help you boost your confidence by doing all that research and feeling super prepared, because then you know it's like you've generally done everything you can. So I think it's okay to not feel super confident, but do your research and it'll help you feel more confident. Someone said, how early is too early to ask for a raise? Is there a standard amount of time you should wait? I don't know, I'd say like 4 to 6 months into a job. If you're doing like drastically different work, I think it's always okay to ask for a raise. Maybe not like your first month, but I think if you've been doing the job for a few months, I think it's definitely always okay to, like, you know, what I said, put your document together, ask for a raise. Again, the worst they're gonna say is no. Someone said, how do you negotiate for a higher salary moving into a new position at work? It's something I literally just did. So I think you do it the same way you would in any job, especially if you're moving into a new position, like, and your title's changing. Definitely, like, I'm not gonna repeat it too much, but do research on that title and like list out all the new responsibilities you're gonna get. It's not even a raise at that point, like when you're getting a new role at your same job. It's just an adjustment to what you like should be making for that new job. Someone said, how much above offer salary should you counter when negotiating? I don't think there's necessarily like an amount dependent like on the offer. For me, I've asked for like 10,000, 15,000 more, but I think it just depends. That's just because that's what I felt like the market value was. So I think if you're getting offered $50,000 and the market value for like a marketing coordinator is 55, ask for like 57 or something. I think that's normal, but I don't think it matters. Like even if it's a lot more than your initial offer, that's just because they're probably way lowballing your offer. So I think always just ask for what you think is fair and then a little bit more. I think those are the only questions I didn't like really get to, but I feel like everything else I've honestly answered in this video. So yeah, thank you guys for asking your questions, and I think that's everything I wanted to say. So be confident, you got this, ask for your raise, do your research, create your document, and I think that's everything I wanted to say. So if you guys enjoyed watching this video, hope you learned something, and as always, comment down below your thoughts, opinions, your experiences. I would love to learn from you guys in the comments as well. And with all that being said, I hope you guys are doing well, and I'll see you on Wednesday for a new vlog. Bye.